Hi. Well, I've not made it hidden that I'm not doing well, and that's continuing to be the case. I said last week that my forward momentum has been paused. Well, I'm starting to notice that it may be going backwards a little bit for me. So I don't want to talk about that though. What I'd really like to talk about this week is what I'm doing to try to combat against going backwards and falling into a dark hole. So I want to open the conversation up and talk about things that we might do to try to help us on a day-to-day basis. And one of those things for me is projects. I like to do lots of different things, and I haven't done them for years because I just lost interest. Well, not that I have gained interest back, but I'm forcing the interest. That's not an easy job. Forcing to be interested in something isn't easy, but I'm very purposeful in trying to make sure that I do something to occupy my mind in a positive way. Because if it's occupied in a negative way, and that's by me just sitting still and allowing my thoughts and the voices in my head to ruminate and get louder and louder and louder, it causes me to go darker and darker and darker. So I have got up out of my chair purposefully and have done some things that I normally wouldn't do in the state that I have been in. One of those things were I made cinnamon rolls a couple of weeks ago, and I have to explain a little bit why that's a huge deal for me, because I've always had this love-hate relationship with yeast, and through the help of my niece who did some investigating and the help of me giving some information, we discovered that the reason why my yeast probably didn't rise was because I have a water softener and salt kills yeast. So, we tried it again, but I didn't use my water, and they turned out amazing. Best homemade cinnamon rolls I have ever had. I was so happy with what I did. I was pleased. I was actually giddy over making these cinnamon rolls. They were something that I tackled, that I tried, and I was proud of myself. Another thing that I have done that I have never done before was I made this bag. And sewing for me has become something that's new within the last few years. I have a little bit of knowledge before about sewing, and things that needed to be mended, I would just quickly mend them on the cheap little machine that I had. But I have learned that having my sewing machine now is helping me have something to do for a project when I can't think of something else to do. And this was one of them that I had done a few weeks ago, and it's pretty awesome. I love it. I was pretty pleased with it. It's not perfect. This is the key. It's not perfect. But what I have to take pride in is the fact that I attempted something new that I have never done before, and I finished it. I didn't just leave it be. I finished it. And I can have a choice of looking at the imperfections in it and focusing on the imperfections and going, see, it could be better here, it could be better there, or I can take a look at it and go, you know what? It's not perfect, but I did this, and I accomplished this, and I tackled this, and I'm taking pride in that. Another thing that I did that I have never done before was this huge, massive bag. It's pretty amazing, and I just can't believe I did this myself, but I did, and again, I did struggle through this. It took me a lot of tries, and I did each step like 2 to 3 times, and got so frustrated at myself because why didn't I do it right the first time? But again, I was purposeful and I tried something that I had never done before and I accomplished it. If it's not perfect, that's okay. It's better if it's not perfect because you can practice in not noticing the imperfections, but noticing the fact that you did something, that you took pride in something, and you finished it all the way through, that you started it and you saw it through to the end. So that's what I'm trying to focus on. Right now, I'm working on some quilt squares for my friend and helping her with a quilt that she's going to be making. And again, this just gives me something to keep my mind busy so it doesn't start to get louder in there. And when I notice that it's getting louder, I get up and I find something to do to keep me busy, physically busy. That helps me with focusing. And sometimes even with keeping physically busy, I'm noticing that my mind still has room to ruminate and have those voices in my head start to tell me lies and tell me things. So then I put music on to help with that. And most of the time out of the knot, I find that I sing along with the music, and that helps. So whatever you need to help get through your days, let me know. Tell me what are the things that you do when you're feeling a little low, a little sad, a little down, a little blue. What do you do to try to help yourself get out of the place that you're at and focus on something different than what you're dealing with? I'm curious. Maybe something will spur other people to try something with your idea. So let's keep the conversation going. Let me know.